What's better than a little Clippy lavalier? Two little Clippy lavaliers. I'm not very good at jokes. Hi, thanks for joining me, and what I'm going to talk about today is the little Clippy EM172, but it's a stereo version. Now this is the mono version, here it is, and it's costing around, at the moment, around 35 or so pounds from micbooster.com. It's an omnidirectional, it's quite a large lavalier. The capsule itself is actually quite a big one. So it's not one of those ones that you can hide as easily on you as some others, because it is actually quite a large thing. But the sound of this lavalier is fantastic. Now it's got a very low noise floor. It's around 80 dB, which is excellent for a lavalier. It's fantastic. It's got a good solid thick wire, very pliable, very flexible wire. It's a good solid build. Very nice lavalier actually. So I was delighted to get hold of a stereo version. In the context of this microphone, by stereo, I don't mean the type of mic where you would go out and point it forwards and pick up things left and right from the front. By stereo, I mean two microphones. They're both omnidirectional, but they're wired into the same plug, so that what happens is one microphone goes into the right hand side, one microphone goes into the left hand side, which means you can split the two, which means if two people are wearing the lavalier, then they're going to go into separate channels. The build quality on the stereo version is just as good as the mono, good solid thick wire. These foam covers, they don't come with the microphone, which I think is a pity at the price, because for the two of them, I think it's somewhere around £75. So it's a pity that they don't come with their own foamies, because you will need to use them when you're going outside. But the build quality is fantastic. There's the wire itself is about 2'6", long. So if you're going to be filming from a distance, then what you're going to need is to put an extension lead there, and then they get split at the other end. One of the advantages of having two microphones put into one plug is, of course, that the audio gets split. But because it's so short, you will need an extension lead, or if you want to go straight into the camera and do some close shots, then you don't. It's very convenient to just pack away. But the other thing is that Mic Booster match the capsules, and so these two are within 0.5 of a dB of each other, which means the two sides are going to be really well matched. For this audio, what I'm doing is I'm using just one of the microphones, and the other capsule is just in my, oh, it's hanging there, hang on, I'll take it away, there you are, I can get further away. It's in my pocket. So the other capsule is in my pocket, and I'm recording on one capsule like a mono capsule, and that way I'll just, when in post, I'll take that one channel, so this is just a single lav. The only thing I've done is I've put an extension on, so this is a Rode extension, and that's allowed me to get much further away from the camera. So as you can see, I'm a lot further away. So this is the sound of the lavalier when it's being used as a mono lavalier, just on one side, and I'll take the audio from just one side. For this take, I'm using a crossed pair. So what I've done is I've got the two mono lavs and I've put them together, and they're crossing over, so that we should get a good central image. And if you show you, there's a little bit of fluff on there. So that's the crossed pair. If I take it further away, that's what it sounds like. And now if I go to one side, I turn it to one side, that's what it sounds like on the one side. If I go, that's the center, and if I go to the other side, that's the other side. So you don't get a really wide stereo image, but it might just slightly move in your headphone, but it might also be giving you slightly more sense of space with my speech as well, planted smack in the center. For this take, what I've done is I've now got spaced stereo microphones. In other words, the two mono capsules are split apart. At the moment, I'm just holding them, but ideally you want to fix them somewhere. And this is what they would sound like if you're in the center. and the capsules are spread out, so we've got more of a stereo type of spread. It could create a hole in the middle, and you need to stick to what's called the 1:3 ratio, where the distance from you to the flat of the microphones, the two microphones, you draw a line between the two of them, is say 1 foot, but they've got to be 3 feet apart. So that's the 3-in-1 rule to avoid hopefully phasing issues. Now if I turn this setup round, that means that one microphone in particular is now closer to me than the other, which means it's naturally going to be picking me up on that side louder. I'm now back to the center, and I'm just watching out because there's some builders down the back here, and I'm now going round to the other side where again I've spaced them out, so you get some more of an idea of what a spaced stereo pair sounds like when you're using mono capsules. For this shot, what I've done is I've spaced the two microphones just to give you some idea of how it would pick up ambient sounds, which is really useful if you want to pick up sort of a surround type of sound. So this is the back garden, and how the birds would sound in the back garden. The little Clippy is my favourite lavalier, and the reason it's my favourite is it's low noise, very low noise. I've never heard a lavalier so quiet as this one. Very, very quiet. It's very sensitive, -28 dB. It works, means that your preamps are going to be low when you're using it, so it's a very sensitive microphone, and more important, the sound is really robust. Very often people don't realise that I'm using a lavalier when I'm using the little Clippy, because it has such a robust sound. You probably heard while I was out in the back garden. Now the things I don't like about the stereo Clippy is, one, it doesn't come with these foamies. Now I have lots of foamies because I use the 172, the Primo 172, or the little Clippy an awful lot because it's such a useful mic. So I have these, but if you want these, you have to buy these separately. So you need to buy 2 of these with the microphone. And I think really the company should supply the foamies with the microphone, even if it means they put the price up by £1 or whatever. I think they should. The other thing that I'm not so keen on is the spread, because this lead is about 2'6", so that means the most you can get is about a 5-foot spread. What you do is you put an extension lead on there to spread it. Now the thing is, that's all well and good, but if you've got 5 feet between two people speaking, these are omnis. So when they're 5 feet apart, the other microphone is going to pick the other person up. They're going to be picking each other up. So it's kind of limited in that sense, in that you can't really split them up massively to get them really far apart, so they don't pick each other up so much. Outdoors, that's not such a problem, but indoors it is, because of the reverberation in room. So the split is a bit of a concern sometimes. However, you can again ask the company to make you a custom lead, but they're going to charge more. So if you want a custom lead, you're going to be charged more for the lead, and then you're also going to be charged for the foamies. So there's a little bit extra that goes on the top with this microphone, which I'm not too keen on. It's beautifully built, lovely quality wire, very, very strong. It's built like a tank. It's built to last. And I know what people are going to say. What's to stop you getting 2 lavaliers and just using a splitter straight into the camera? Now there are 2 reasons I don't do that. First of all, the splitter that goes into the camera, they tend to be quite heavy. They have a lead, and the lead comes away from the plug and it pulls down, and that puts a bit of leverage onto your camera if you're going direct into your camera. So I'm not keen using those splitters, if I'm honest. The other thing is this is such a neat package. You can just roll this up and use it, whatever. And I think that's really, really quite useful for when you're out and about. The other thing, of course, is the company match the capsules, and they are within 0.5 of a dB of each other, so they're matched, and you're going to get a good match between the two in terms of sound and also in terms of how loud each one is. And believe you me, some capsules can be quite variable. I recently tested 5 capsules from the same company, and not 2 of them matched. Not in any way. They're really very different. These are pretty good, having said that, because these do match with my other little Clippies, so they're not bad at all really, but he does match them, so they're a proper matching stereo pair, so your sound is going to be even. So I think it's a great tool to have in the box, so having a stereo thing to capture ambience, fantastic. For speech, I'm not so keen on the idea of having a cross stereo pair like this because they're omni, and I'd rather, and this is what I would do, is use one of them and leave the other one in my pocket while I'm using it if you only want to buy a stereo, and then use that channel just for the audio, and then record the ambience separately later and plant it underneath the audio, so you've got your ambience surrounding you, which is rather nice, with your voice smack in the middle because it's mono. So that's useful. That's really useful if you want to get that sense of atmosphere in places where you've got, you want to capture that atmosphere. So it's a terrific microphone. Now, if you like my videos, please consider subscribing, and even better, click the bell so that next time I make a video, you'll find me easier and quicker. I promise next time, if I do start making jokes again at the beginning of the video, I'll try and make them a bit better than my joke at the beginning here, where I was talking to myself. I'm not great at jokes, and I'll apologise now for that awful joke at the beginning of my video. And if you subscribe, I promise not to make such a bad joke next time. Cheers for now. Nice to see you. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.